Coverage you can count on. You're watching WTVM News Leader 9. Sponsored by Mottlick and Associates, Columbus Injury Attorneys.
Good evening. Welcome in to News Leader 9 at 6. I'm Barbara Goche.
And I'm Jason Dennis. Thanks for joining us tonight. Our top story, an official goodbye for the family of Amore Wiggins, known for a long time as Opelika's baby Jane Doe. Her skull found in a mobile home park over a decade ago, and now her father is behind bars connected with the girl's death. News Leader 9's Catrice Nolan's been covering this story since the news of her identity broke earlier this year. She joins us now from our newsroom. And Catrice, tell us more about Amore's Virginia family being able to give her a proper burial.
Well, Jason, Sherry Wiggins, the mother of Amore Wiggins, wanted to give her daughter a proper burial, especially after the way her daughter was brutally beaten and left and later found in an empty lot in a mobile home park in Opelika.
She has a name. Say it loud. Amore Joseph Wiggins.
With tears, Sherry Wiggins reads a poem aloud at her daughter's funeral, the mother recalling if she could have her daughter back one more time.
I wish I could hold your hand and kiss your cheek, just to let you know how much you mean to me.
Detectives from Opelika with the investigative unit were in Virginia to memorialize Amore Wiggins. Her remains found over 11 years ago in a mobile home park with no way to identify the child or her parents. Detective Alfred White, who stuck with the case throughout the years until an identity could be made, telling mourners how much Amore meant to him and the Opelika Police Department.
Amore, we love you. We love you. We do. We all love you, Amore. And if you didn't get to hear from the people who had you last, you can hear it from us. We love you.
Her name, Amore, meaning love, and symbols of love were displayed throughout the service.
Her name alone means something very powerful, and it's what everybody has continued to express.
The family wearing red and pink to represent the colors of love, as family members recalling her smile during happier times, even if they were only for a brief moment.
She let me pick up every time. She would smile and she would reach for me. I miss her. I didn't get to spend much time with her, but the little bit of time that I did have with her, she was a very happy child.
Amore's mother reminding mourners that she is no longer a Jane Doe.
She has a name. Say it loud. Amore Joseph Wiggins.
Certainly heartbreaking to hear that mother call her daughter's name. And we do know her mother, Sherry Wiggins, is also having a memorial service for Amore in Opelika. We are working to learn the details of those plans to be finalized in order to pass that information along to you. Reporting in the newsroom, Catrice Nolan, WTVM News Leader 9. All
right, thank you so much, Catrice. Definitely sad for that family.
Yeah, very emotional day, I'm sure. Well, a busy weekend for the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office, with the sheriff announcing 38 arrests during a weekend operation that includes several gang members. Just into our newsroom tonight, we're learning more about that weekend operation, which was in response to gun violence and designed to address violent street crime involving gangs.
The Muskogee County Sheriff's Office seizing 17 firearms, 3 of which were reported stolen. They also seized a variety of drugs to include cocaine, methamphetamine, mushrooms, pills, and marijuana. This was a joint effort between the Muskogee County and other local sheriff's offices, along with several federal agencies.
And joining us now to talk about this latest operation and more is Muskogee County Sheriff Greg Countryman. Sheriff Countryman, thank you. I know you guys are busy. Thanks for taking time to be with us tonight. Thanks for having me. First, let's talk about what's going on in our area right now with so many shootings happening in Columbus lately, especially. How important is it to get these gang members and drugs off the street like what you guys were able to do this weekend?
It's very critical because we have citizens that want to rest. We want citizens that want to be comfortable in their own homes. And as sheriff, my job is to make sure that I can provide a better quality of life for those we serve.
Yeah. And Sheriff, I know there's been some criticism lately of local law enforcement. So how do you respond to that? And tell us about how do you kind of tell whether it be here on WTVM or other places those success stories?
Well, first of all, we want to embrace it, and we have to recognize if the citizens don't feel safe, then we have a lot of work to do. But what we want to let them know is that we are hard at work and that we're working 24/7. The intel that we get is constant, so it's nothing for our investigators or our deputies to get up and go out at 3 a.m. in the morning to go and track down someone and to bring them to face justice in a courtroom. Yeah. So that's what we do. We want to make sure that we can provide that to our citizens.
And you guys have, again, this weekend, a success story. You talked about how this effort involved other sheriff's departments from around the area. Talk about what kinds of operations that are happening between the sheriff's department and the police department and that relationship. What is the relationship between the two departments right now?
Well, you know, we both have different functions. We have distinct functions. We have two different philosophies, perhaps, about how we go about conducting these type of operations, but at the end, we want to be on the same road, and that is bringing the bad guys to justice. We have a gang issue in Muskogee County, and I want to be the first to say that we do. So we have over 1,800 gang members. This weekend, we arrested 8 validated gang members, and we made 38, I believe it was 38 or 37 felony arrests.
Right.
And it could have been more than that. We made 38 felony arrests, but that was a good number.
Yeah.
And we're going after the worst of the worst. We're not just going out here and throwing out a dragnet and bringing individuals in. We have targeted individuals that we're going after, the worst of the worst. If they have weapons in their hands, let's take the weapons out of the hands, because gun violence is tearing our community up. Yeah. And so what we want to do, address the issue and bring up resolve so that the citizens can have peace.
Well, you said it here, gangs, that's a problem.
Absolutely.
It's been said many times before. And
absolutely.
This is at least taking a step in the direction of quelling some of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you have an annual report just coming out now, so we're going to talk more about that in the future weeks, about some of the stats, some success stories.
Sure.
So thanks so much, Sheriff, for your time.
Thank you.
And by the way, we're going to have all the information in terms of all the mug shots, information on this operation from the weekend on our website, WTVM.com.
All right, Sheriff, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We're going to turn now to some other news. In the face of a recent survey of the Columbus Police Department citing low confidence in leadership, among other issues, members of the community are rallying together to support Columbus Police Chief Freddie Blackman. The group coming together after the chief has been given a deadline to come up with a strategic plan by March 14 to the Columbus City Council on how they're going to address issues within the department.
This is in response to a private assessment done about the chief and his police department. The results compiled by Jensen Hughes revealed the department needed to have a plan for 70 recommendations, something community leaders say has been happening within the department before now.
Some of the things were already occurring, many of them, if not all, and so this is not new, unfortunately, to Columbus. So again, we should be in a supportive mode, not in a finger-pointing mode.
Well, there is expected to be a special called meeting tomorrow at 4 p.m. before the regularly scheduled 5:30 meeting.
And News Leader 9 will be covering both meetings, bringing you the very latest as that happens tomorrow.
All right, time now to turn to the weather. It is pretty warm out there once again today on this Monday after maybe staying that way. Here's meteorologist Elise Ushman with the very latest for us. Hey, Elise.
Hey, Barbara. Yeah, a really nice day out there for us. Warm again, a nice sunset over LaGrange. You can see a few breaks in those clouds now. We do have, of course, the sunshine out. So a nice change from what we saw earlier in the day today. Temperatures still in the mid 70s in LaGrange with a little bit of a breeze. We are still seeing some gusty winds out there. That's the case for all of the valley with that cold front swinging through, but it's not going to change our temperatures. Still going to be around these temperatures as we get into your afternoon tomorrow. 77 in Lynette and Auburn right now, 77 in Richland, 79 at Fort Benning. These temperatures right around where they were at this time yesterday, and we'll continue to see this same trend all the way into the end of our work week. We're not seeing very many changes, and it really won't even be a very big change as we get through the end of this week. Tonight, back into the low 60s, a very mild night ahead for us, you guys, with a very slim chance at a shower. I'm going to have a look at the rest of the work week and this coming weekend in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Elise. Well, as former President Jimmy Carter of Plains, Georgia remains in hospice care right now, we're learning more about his hometown church's history and how Carter's fight for integration in the 70s is making an impact on today's congregation.
News 9's Ashley Williams joins us from Plains tonight after talking with two local longtime Plains residents about the president's impact on integration.
It's a fascinating story how Maranatha Baptist Church was started back in the 1970s. It all stems from an African-American reverend who requested to join Jimmy Carter's church at the time, which was Plains Baptist, but was denied. That sparking a lot of political controversy, and several church members left to later build the church behind me. Located off a desolate road in Plains, Georgia, and surrounded by tall pecan trees, former President Jimmy Carter, an active member of Maranatha Baptist Church since its birth in the late 70s. Hundreds of people traveling from across the world to this church each Sunday for decades to get the chance to hear Carter teach Sunday school. But Maranatha Baptist stands for more than just a place for people to come for worship. It's a place built on a foundation of integration, welcoming people of every race and religion.
There was an African-American man who had heard Jimmy Carter talk about his faith, being a born-again Christian, going to church, teaching Sunday school classes. So this Reverend C.B. King out of Albany, Georgia, wanted to come and join our church at Plains Baptist. We had a lot of meetings. Then we took a vote, and the vote was to not let the man come in.
This sparking controversy and negative political publicity for the, at the time, hopeful President Jimmy Carter. 29 church members from Plains Baptist then broke off from that congregation, ultimately the pioneers who built Maranatha. And not long after that, they received another call from the Reverend King.
He called the church, and we said, sure, you come right on, we'll let you preach. We'll give you some other jobs to do, and he never came.
And since Maranatha Baptist Church hired its first black lead pastor who served for several years, he stepped down back in 2021. In Plains, Georgia, I'm Ashley Williams for WTVM News Leader 9.
Well, Lee County officials are preparing for safety measures following the recent toxic chemical train derailment in East Alabama. Railroad lines for CXS and Norfolk Southern surround the Auburn-Opelika area. News 9's East Alabama reporter Reagan Ranzer is in Opelika tonight near a railroad track. And Reagan, you spoke with emergency responders about the preparation needed to keep residents safe if anything like that were to ever happen here. Tell us more about what they told you.
Barbara, yes, officials told me you never know when a hazardous spill can happen. And when it does happen, or if it does, residents need to be prepared in that situation. They'll be sending out text alerts to make sure to stay inside or go to a shelter in case hazardous chemicals are in the air. Now, they say they recommend a roll of duct tape to tape your window cracks to keep toxic fumes from getting inside. Fire Inspector Bob Parsons says all firefighters in the area have hazardous material training, and 32 are specially trained in the operations part. Parsons says if a spill were to happen, they would identify the substance using a book called the Emergency Response Guide to navigate certain hazardous situations. Afterwards, alerts will be sent out using wireless emergency alert systems, text alerts, and public safety apps.
Once we have an idea of what it is that has spilled or what it is that's on fire and what the toxicity levels of that is, we immediately start making sure that we're evacuating the nearby residents, or that we're advising nearby residents to shelter in place.
Similar to severe weather, shelter locations would be announced to those who live close to the spill. Now, for a list of those items that you need if that were to happen, and those apps, you can visit our website, WTVM.com, for that information. In Opelika, Reagan Ranzer, WTVM News Leader 9.
Well, certainly we pray it never happens, but it's definitely good to be prepared. All right, Reagan, thank you very much, and we will take a break and be right back.
Now from your Storm Team 9 Alert Center, WTVM meteorologist Elise Bushman.
And we're going to be be seeing that time change here pretty soon. So 2 weeks from tomorrow, we'll actually see the sun set at about 7:45. A really nice change for us. We've got some changes on the way this week as well. We'll stay warm for the next few days, really through your Friday. We'll still see those 70s and 80s every day, but by the end of the work week, we'll watch some stormy weather make its way back into our area. Behind that, though, cooler air settles back in. We'll see about a 10 to 15 degree difference by the weekend. So this afternoon, 75 in Richland, 74 in Cuthbert, 77 in Auburn right now. We did get back into those low 80s for the most part. We'll see the same thing as we get into the day tomorrow. However, we will see much less of this cloudiness. So the clouds already starting to dissipate. You could see the chance at another spotty shower or two through the overnight tonight, but overall, that is going to make its way out of here, especially by the time we get out the door tomorrow. We'll be seeing plenty of sunshine, mostly clear skies all day for your Tuesday. And as we get into Wednesday, we'll watch that shift back to cloudy conditions and a few light showers out there. We could see some dense patchy fog early Wednesday morning as well, but we'll really be watching the stormy weather that's going to make its way here by Thursday into your Friday. That will be heavier rainfall, much more widespread, especially by Friday morning. Not quite going to show up on our futurecast just yet, but this is just one model of what those next few days might look like. Tonight, temperatures back into the low 60s. Another very mild night for us. A very slim chance that you could still see another shower or two, but by the time you get out the door tomorrow, looking really nice. Mostly clear skies all day and temperatures back into those low 80s. And we'll continue to see pretty similar conditions all the way through Wednesday and your Thursday, but the rain coverage does start to go back up into your Wednesday afternoon. Same story into Thursday, a little bit better chance at seeing a shower, maybe even a thunderstorm or two by Thursday evening. And that same story sticks around as we head into your Friday. So for Friday afternoon, the most widespread coverage we've seen in the past couple of weeks, but it will very quickly drop back off, leaving us with beautiful conditions for that next weekend. Temperatures back into the low 70s, the upper 60s for a couple of days. It won't stay like that for very long, but we can certainly enjoy dry and seasonable conditions for the first time in about 2 weeks by the time that makes it here. So a nice weekend ahead, and then we'll see those temperatures warm right back up to the mid and upper 70s by the middle of the next work week. Until then, we'll continue to stay in the upper 70s and the low 80s for the next couple of days, you guys.
All right, well, we'll get those shorts, not short pants, as I said earlier, shorts and tank tops ready. I guess nobody says short pants but me.
Oh, I mean, they are short pants.
That's right.
But
they are.
shorts.
What they are.
Jason wears them all the time.
All the time. All right, thank you, Elise. Well, coming up, a former Bulldog and Super Bowl champ speaking to local students.
Tony Reese has more on Malcolm Mitchell's visit to Brookstone School. Sports coming up next.
Tony wears short pants.
He does. He's got them on right now.
Now from WTVM Sports Leader 9, Tony Reese.
Good evening and welcome back, y'all. Students at Brookstone School received a surprise today following a special guest who came to share his message about the importance of reading. And oh yeah, he just happens to be a former Super Bowl champion as well. Let's get right into it. Monday morning, Brookstone students had a unique opportunity. Former Georgia Bulldog and Super Bowl champion Malcolm Mitchell hosted an assembly for students and even read and gave out copies of his children's book, The Magician's Hat.
Reading is just such a fundamental tool to being a productive citizen in this society. And if I can be of some encouragement into the community, I take a lot of pride in that, and hopefully it's helping.
Malcolm credits his own story as the inspiration behind his book.
It's me understanding the magic of books. That I could find a book on any topic, learn that information, and then apply it to help me accomplish any goal that I set in my mind. To me, there was nothing more magical than that.
During Mitchell's assembly, he engaged the students with interactive activities, including bringing along a magician, a key component of his book. The way Mitchell happened to make Monday's appearance happened to be behind his close connection with Brookstone athletic director and head football coach Rance Gillespie. For the coach, he says seeing his former player thrive in his new calling was truly something special.
They talk about the coaching profession being very gratifying because you're able to influence kids, and that's really why you get into it. But you know, if you're not careful, every once in a while, one of those kids will influence you, and that's certainly what Malcolm has done for me.
And if there's one takeaway he hopes students learn from his story,
reading is the key. There are many things that we can do in life, but there are very few as empowering as reading a book. being able to acquire that information and use it to help you accomplish your goals in life.
Meanwhile, bouncing up to Birmingham, Lochapoka up against Spring Garden in the 1A semifinals game. Taylor Murph-Dowdell leading the way for the Indians. Lochapoka leads 4-2 in the game's opening minutes. Meanwhile, later in the first quarter, Spring Garden catches fire from deep. Libby Brown with one of her 4 threes on the day. Panthers leads 13-6. Moving on to the second quarter, Kaylee Kirk would shoot it for 3. It would be good on that banger. Spring Garden led 39-21 at the break. That was too big of a hole for Lochapoka to climb out of. Murph-Dowdell playing to the whistle, passes out to Jasmine Thomas, who buries the 3. Thomas finished the game with a team-high 12 points. However, 62-34 is the final score. Lochapoka's season ends in the semifinals for the second straight year, but congratulations, girls, on such a hard-fought run.
Yeah, congratulations to them. And those students at Brookstone really seemed to enjoy that visit.
Oh, yeah, they loved it, especially me in the camera, just waving upon them reading the book, and just to see him interacting with the kids. And the Magicians was such a fun event to go to.
It was great.
Yes,
it was great. All right, thank you.
All right, Elise, the weather's great for those if you like it warm around here, right?
Yeah, and it's going to stay that way, too. We'll see some storms by the end of the week, and then we'll cool off for the weekend.
All right, that is going to do it for us tonight at 6. We'll see you right back here tonight for News Leader 9 at 11.
See you then. Good night.
Good night.